Hello there. Welcome to English for Hospitality program. This is meeting 2, and my name is Farah and I am your instructor for today. So, in this meeting, we will be focusing on asking and responding to questions. As we know that in most settings, when you work in hospitality, there will be many encounter when you have to ask questions to people or to customer, and then when you have to respond to a question from customers. So this session is basically created to help you to ask and to respond to questions that the customer asks or that you need to ask to a customer. So let's get started. Now, let me move myself down here a bit. Okay, so let's take a look at this picture. So let's discuss this with your partner. You can have anyone working with you now. Um, if you meet this person for the first time, what question would you ask her? Imagine that you're now working in hospitality industry. For example, you're working in a restaurant, or for example, you're working in a hotel as a reception. What would you ask this person? So please discuss with your partner. You can have as many questions as possible if you can. You can ask any questions. Please do so. I'll give you around 5 minutes probably to have discussions with your partner. So the way we do this, basically, please just pause this video once you watch the video, and then please time yourself 5 minutes. And once you're done with 5 minutes, you can replay this video, and I can explain to you what kind of questions you can ask to her. So please pause the video now. Okay, I'm back. So basically, when you meet this person as a people or as a person who works in hospitality industry, the questions that you will ask to her probably will be, hey, what can I help you? Yeah. So, hey, what can I do for you? Hey, my name is, what can I help you? Or sometimes you can also ask, hey, what can I assist you? Okay, so those questions are normally questions that you can ask to a person when you work as person in hospitality industry, for example, in a hotel reception, as a hotel reception, or as someone who work in a restaurant. What about this one? I believe that most of you will love this video, especially when you're girls, because this person seems to be very famous. If you meet this person, what question will you ask him? Imagine that he's a guest in a restaurant, in the restaurant you're working in, or in a hotel that you're working in. What will you ask him? Of course, the question will be the same. How may I assist you? How can I help you? Something like that. So these questions or these expressions are basically expressions that you can use when you meet customer for the first time. When they arrive, you can ask this question. How can I help you? How may I assist you? So, let me move myself up here again. Okay, so now we are going to talk a little bit about grammar, about tenses. I know that most of you will be meh, but well, tenses and grammar is part of our life, so we need to learn about that a little bit. Um, so there are actually several questions that you can use to ask people or ask customers for the first time. Um, for example, these are the example of simple present questions. Just pay attention on the structure, yeah? So technically, you can start with question word. Where do you work? Or if we want to change the subject into Martha, we can say, where does Martha work? Or if we want to change it into Bob, we can say, where does Bob work? Something like that. It also applies to the other question. What does Martha think about the project? What do you think about the project? What does Bob think about the project? And how do you like your new apartment? How many kids does Bob have? How many kids do you have? How many kids does Martha have? Basically, these are the structure that you can use to ask questions. Pay attention on this. Here we use do and here we use does. Do you know what's the difference between do and does? Okay, so basically do are used for subject I, you, we, they, where does is used for subject she, he, and it. If you pay attention here, Martha is a she and Bob is a he. So Martha and Bob use does in the auxiliary verb. I hope that's clear enough for you. Now, what about simple past? Simple past is technically way easier because the auxiliary verb used is just did. How did they learn English so fast? How did you learn English so fast? How did the manager learn English so fast? When did you get home from work yesterday? When did the manager get home from work yesterday? When did they get home from work yesterday? What did the manager think about your idea? Where did you buy that t-shirt? So the difference between simple past and simple present is that simple present is used to ask questions that is basically repeated. Activity that is repeated or that is part of their regular habit. But for simple past, it is only asked for questions that is related to something in the past, that is finished, something that happens in the past. Yeah, um, yesterday is the example for it. Now, this is present continuous question. Present continuous questions is used when you ask question about right now. What happened right now? What are you doing at the moment? You're studying English with me. So if you pay attention on the auxiliary verb here, they are very varied. Yeah, we have are, we have is, and in the main verb here we have ing, doing, ignoring, meeting, dating. So please pay attention on the auxiliary verb here. Are just used only used for subject you, they, we. Is are used for subject he, she, and it, and I use am. So auxiliary verb for subject I is am. So these are the example. What are you doing at the moment? Why is she ignoring me? What time are we meeting up for dinner? Who is she dating now? Or who are we dating now? Who is he dating now? What is he doing at the moment? What are we doing at the moment? Yeah. So this is past continuous question. Past continuous question are used when you are talking about something that is happening in the past, in progress, but in the past. So, for example, who were you talking to on the phone? What was Jim doing when you called? Why were the children eating candy before dinner? How was he feeling after the surgery? So, if you pay attention on the auxiliary verb here, there are two types of auxiliary verb here. We have were and was. Were are used for you, we, they, and yeah, you, we, and they. While were used for she, he, it, and I. If you pay attention here on Jim, Jim is a he. And the children here is they. Yeah, children is more than one. Children is 2, 3, 4, 5 child. So basically children is more than one. So it should be they. So we use were here. Okay. This is present perfect question. So present perfect question is basically quite difficult to ask because usually we don't have this kind of tenses in Indonesia. So it is quite difficult to get the sense of present perfect tense. But let me explain it to you as easy as possible. How much money have you spent on clothes this month? So basically it talks about something that is finished, that is happening in the past, but still have effect until now. So we're talking about how much money have we spent from the first day of January until today. So that is basically using present perfect tense. Yeah. If you pay attention here, present perfect tense use have and has. Again, have is for you, we, they, and has is for she, he, it, and I. Oh, sorry, I is here. Have is used for you, they, we, and I, while has is for she, he, and it. So, how much money has your teacher spent on clothes this month? How long has your teacher worked at this school? How long have you worked at this school? Or what have they been doing all day? What have you been doing all day? What has your teacher been doing all day? How long has the client been waiting for the order? How long have they been waiting for the order? So that is present perfect question. Now let's take a look about future. So in the future question, we use will and to be going to. So will is basically used for any kinds of subject, while to be going to is divided into are, is, and there is also am here. Are is for you, they, and we. Is for she, he, and it, and am is for I. Yeah. Who will you invite to the party? Who will your parents invite to the party? Yeah. What will your parents think about your plan? What will you think about the plan? When are you going to clean your room? Why is she going to quit her job? So the difference between will and to be going to is that will is for a spontaneous event. So you basically do not have plans on doing this, but you basically just spontaneously talking about that by the moment you're speaking. While to be going to is used when you're talking about something that is planned. When are you going to clean your room means, do you have plan to clean your room? Something like that. But if I ask, when will you clean your room? That means I'm just spontaneously think about whether you spontaneously will clean it right now. Yeah, so that's the difference. So will is for a spontaneous event, while to be going to is for something that is planned. Now we are going to talk about model questions. There are actually many models in English. We have would, could, should, may, might, can, shall, and so on. So these are just some examples. What would you do if you had $1,000,000? How could we improve our English? Where should I go on my next vacation? So these are some examples of model questions in English. Now, we're done with the tenses. Now let's take a look at this picture. So imagine you're now working as someone who work in a restaurant, and then there's a customer on the table, and then you're trying to get their order. Yeah. So this person says steak, please. So what do you think is the question for this answer? So the customer says a steak, please. So what will be your question? You can have some moment to think and to create a response. You can also respond in Indonesian, in Bahasa Indonesia. But I will help you to make the question in English later on. So what do you think? A steak, please. So, the most common question that someone will ask to a customer for their order usually is, what would you like to eat? Or what would you like to have? Or are you ready to order? What would you like to have? Now, you can follow me, yeah? Please follow me. Repeat after me. Are you ready to order? What would you like to have? Once more. Are you ready to order? What would you like to have? Okay, excellent. Now, let's move on to this question. For example, if someone says, "Oh, I stayed at home and watched TV," what would be the question? What do you think? You can use Indonesian, and then I'll help you with the English expressions. So please have a moment to think about the question that can be asked for this response. Okay. So the most common question that can be asked for this response is, what did you do yesterday? What did you do yesterday? Repeat after me. What did you do yesterday? Okay, excellent. Now let's move on to this one. So there is a response to this question. We are going to visit New York. What do you think will be the perfect question for this answer? Probably the most common question that you can ask is, what is your plan for holiday? What is your plan for holiday? Yeah, what is your plan for holiday? Excellent. Now let's do some interview practice. So now you're going to conduct research with the following topic. The topic is the effect of sleep deprivation on work performance. So now I want you guys to start making some interview questions about sleep deprivation on work performance, and then you need to do the interview to your classmate, to anyone in your class, and then record the interview and then make conclusion. Yeah. So imagine that you are doing a real interview on that topic, effect of sleep deprivation on work performance. Yeah. So I'll give you some time later to complete this exercise and then to um, create the recording and to record your interview and then to submit. So now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so that's basically it. That is basically the end for today's session. Your task for this week is basically doing some interview with your classmate about the effect of sleep deprivation on work performance. Yeah. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next meeting. Bye.